here in the farmhouse, obviously, with my sister Laura and her baby Jacob, and we are doing a family Thanksgiving today. We have lots of family, and so it's nice to have several different times that we're making Thanksgiving as opposed to just on Thanksgiving Day. We're doing this entirely from scratch. So let's see what we have on the menu. I'm doing green bean casserole from scratch, sourdough, stuffing, and cranberry sauce. And then Laura is doing from scratch pumpkin pies, sweet potato casserole, and the turkey. So what we're gonna do is, this is a collaboration video, so you can watch me making my 3 recipes and all the ingredients if you want some Thanksgiving inspiration. And then you could head over to Laura's channel, Our Oily House, to get her recipes and watch the other half of this very same video. And then tonight, we have family coming, so our mom and our sisters and their husbands. And is Dad coming?
I don't know about Dad, I didn't hear.
Okay, well anyways, all the kids, yes. We're gonna have a feast here in the farmhouse. So join us as we cook, bake, and celebrate. I had to start one of my recipes the night before. The sourdough stuffing required me to make sourdough bread. Now, I did not do my recipe that has the stretch and folds and a lot of the timing. I just did my basic artisan loaf, which basically you just throw the ingredients into the mixer, let it knead, let it rise, and then shape overnight in the refrigerator and then bake the next day. That might, if you're new to sourdough, still sound somewhat complicated, but it's actually just really, really simple because it requires so little hands-on time. You can find that recipe at farmhouseonboone.com. Just search artisan loaf. It's just a very basic, not fancy loaf, which I was great with because clearly I am going to be just cutting this up for my sourdough stuffing. I actually offer a free ebook. I talk about this every single Thanksgiving. You can get it at bit.ly/Thanksgiving from scratch. And I have all of my recipes for Thanksgiving in one little ebook. So if you want to print that off and then just get all of these recipes, you can. I also did strain off some bone broth for some of my recipes here today. Now for the stuffing, again, the exact measurements are in that ebook, but sometimes I don't even measure anymore. I just kind of estimate. But I cut up some celery and onion to start. I got 2 sticks of butter going in a cast iron skillet, added my onions and celery to that to saute them and give them a ton of flavor. I diced the sourdough bread in about 1-inch cubes. I did this for 2 different loaves of bread, so that way we could double the recipe. Added eggs to a large bowl along with some homemade bone broth. Of course, you can do homemade or store-bought. I had to do a little bit of each just because I didn't make quite enough broth. I had a lot of evaporation of my water because my Instant Pot broke, so I've been making it in my cast iron Dutch oven and forgot to add more water. Then I added in some salt and the bread to the liquid mixture so that it could soak everything up. Taking a quick break from all of this delicious cooking to tell you about today's video sponsor, Thrive Market. If you've been following along with my channel, you know about Thrive Market. I've been a happy customer of theirs for many years because they have so many things that I can't find locally that I can easily get delivered right to my door, free shipping when orders are over $49 from Thrive Market. So it just really makes grocery shopping really easy. I like to get things like canned fire roasted tomatoes, spices like everything bagel seasoning or cumin and chili powder, we're loving that right now, coconut water, maple syrup, bee pollen, oats, honey, einkorn products like Jovial einkorn flour and their pastas, a lot of pantry staples. They also have meat, wine, so many options, organic and natural. I love that on the Thrive Market website, you can sort by your dietary preference. So if you are gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, you can make it to where they only show you those options. For me, I get a lot of the same things over and over again. So I just get on, look at my past orders or just what they recommend to me because they, at this point, very well know what I want. Add things to my cart. It makes it really, really simple, and I can get the job done very quickly. Thrive Market is subscription based, so you can either pay by the year and get a discount on your yearly membership, or if you just want to try it out, you can pay by the month and see if they have something that you've been wanting to keep in rotation and stock in your kitchen that you can't find locally, or it's just hard to find, that you want to conveniently get delivered right to your door. Join Thrive Market today and get 30% off your first order plus a free gift worth $60 by using my link, thrivemarket.com/farmhouse-on-boone. You can also find that link in the description box below. Next, Laura and I went out to the garden to pick some thyme and sage. One thing that still hangs on long after the first frost is those herbs, or are those herbs. And that's why they taste so delicious and are so common in Thanksgiving meals. After that was in the oven, it was time to start working on my green bean casserole. I started with fresh green beans that I trimmed. I like to do fresh green beans for this just because it's a little bit more elevated than the typical canned green beans and cream of mushroom soup. This is more of a from scratch version and the extra effort is really worth it. Next, I cut some onions in strips to make the fried onion topping. To make the breading, I just did einkorn flour and salt. This is actually really so simple, especially whenever you use a bit of a deeper pan for oil. In years past, I've done just a cast iron skillet, and this year I decided to use something a little bit deeper, and it was way less of a mess, go figure, right? If you have a Fry Daddy, that could also work really well. For the green beans, I just boiled them for about 5 minutes to give them a head start on cooking because the onion portion of this recipe is pretty short. Then I dredged the onions in the flour mixture and put them in the hot oil. I just cook them in small batches until they are really dark, golden, crispy. They really turned out so delicious. Of course, you can use any kind of neutral oil. I used coconut oil. Next, for the cream of mushroom soup component, I diced up several mushrooms and got them in some butter to saute. mushrooms, I added some einkorn flour. Once that's incorporated, some broth so that it could simmer and get thick, and then finish it off with cream and salt. Laura and I thought it would be fun to talk about Thanksgiving over the years and some traditions that we've had. One of my favorite years was 2 years ago. We had my sister's wedding, our youngest sister's wedding, out in our barn. And so it was really clean because her wedding was November 1st. We did a big work day and we had lights strung and everything was, it's a working barn. So it was very unique that we could actually,
clean and
And so we brought a table out there and some candles and we decorated. And we did a Friendsgiving, I guess you could call it. We invited over some friends and all the kids, and we did a Thanksgiving out there. That was probably one of my most memorable, even though that wasn't actually Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving feasts.
Yes, that was like super fun. And I remember like it was dark, but it was a super nice warm day. And all the kids were running around. And I remember when it got dark, I started to get like, where are all the kids? Because there was so many of them running around.
Yeah, and that was before we had our fencing too. So I don't know, I think that contains people a little bit better.
But it was like nice all the way up until we left, even though, and I was there by myself because I think it was during hunting season. So my husband was hunting, and so I had all the kids and I was like making sure they all were where they're supposed to be. I don't think they even had jackets on. I think they were in dress up or something. Remember, they were like dressing up and like playing on the trampoline. And
which is consistent with what's going on this year, but it's about to turn the temperature. So you always have that time in November where you can get one or the other. And I think it's about to get really cold, but right now the window's open and we're just enjoying this warm weather. We're gonna be sharing our childhood Thanksgiving traditions over on Laura's, so make sure when you watch hers to listen for that as well. Last on the list for my portion of this meal is cranberry sauce. I love making this because you can do it stovetop, so you don't have to worry about oven space, which can be at a premium during the Thanksgiving preparation. Also, I didn't really measure this time. I mean, in the past, I've gone right off of my notes from my original recipe, but I've noticed that it always works out. You can just cook it a little bit longer to evaporate a lot of that extra liquid if need be. I just did cranberries, apple cider, fresh orange juice, and honey to sweeten. Laura and I are wishing you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving and Christmas season. Enjoy all of the delicious food and time with your precious family and friends. Again, if you want to print off all of these recipes, head over to bit.ly/Thanksgiving from scratch. And make sure to head over to Laura's channel. I'll have it linked down in the description box below, or just search Our Oily House on YouTube and get the other half of this Thanksgiving with family video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you are brand new, please hit that subscribe. I make new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by our farmhouse.